In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your very own I'm trying to stay on top of the world rolling planet. So let's get started. Place your One X on the ground with any tripod. Turn your One X on, set it to video mode, 5.7K 30 frames a second. If you're a newbie, set it to auto exposure, or if you know what you're doing, expose using manual mode. I like to set white balance manually, and to do this I'll look at what the video looks like in auto white balance and then find an option that looks closest to the auto white balance and set it to that. In this case, sunny looks the closest to the auto. And then in post I can adjust the white balance if it's off. That's all your settings done, and now press record. Pretend to fall forward, pretend to fall backward, and then run around the camera in a circle. At the end, just pretend to fall forward again. The next thing we're going to do is stitch these files together using Insta360 One X Studio. So let's open it up. And if you haven't got it already, you can download it from the link in the description below. So once you've opened it, locate your footage and drag it in. The next thing you're going to do is select the in points and out points of the parts of the footage you want to keep. So now everything outside this yellow highlighted box will be discarded, and this will reduce your stitching time. Keep these settings the same, click this button to export, keep the resolution as 5760 by 2880, change the bit rate to superb, choose a file name for your footage, choose where you want to store it, and click OK. Now that that's done, we're going to use After Effects to remove the rig from the footage and to color grade our footage. So go ahead and open up After Effects. Click New Project. Locate the footage you just exported. Drag it in. Drag the footage into a new composition. And the next thing we're going to do is remove the rig and shadows. So first of all, I'm going to find a frame where my foot is not near the shadows, and this will make it easy to remove. So that looks fine. Now make sure Full is selected over here. Go to Composition, Save Frame As, File, and we're going to render a Photoshop file. Now locate this file, open it up, and then go to 3D, Spherical Panorama, New Panorama. And now with our mouse, we can drag and look around our image. We're going to remove the shadow and rig using the clone stamp tool. So set the size to around 500, hardness to 0, and select a patch of grass that you want to copy over the shadow. So I'll select this bit here by pressing down the Alt key and a click, let go of the Alt key, and then with your mouse, click and drag to paste over. We're going to do this again, so hold the Alt key down, click on the patch of grass that you want to copy over this shadow, and to copy over, click your mouse and drag over it. With the Move tool, we're going to drag downwards to look at the rig underneath, and we're going to do the same thing again. And now you can see our rig has been completely removed. So now we're going to save this file by going to 3D, Spherical Panorama, Export Panorama, and give it a name. We are now going to import this image into After Effects. So select the image you just created and drag it into your project, and then drag it above your video in your composition. So now you can see the rig is removed, and we need to create a mask so that it only affects the grass area. Click the pen tool, and we're going to create a couple of points around the grass area. Just like that. And now you can see this grass area is on top of our rig in the video. So click the drop down over here under masks, mask 1, click the stopwatch, move the video forward. When I see my foot go into the mask, I will then adjust it. So here I can see my foot might be clipped by the mask, so I'll just select this point, drag it a bit lower, move it forward a couple of seconds and just check. So now I can see that my foot's being cut off, so I'll just drag these points down ever so slightly, move forward a couple of seconds. So I can see this point's slightly too high, so I'll bring it down. Move forward another 2 seconds. That looks fine. Move forward another 2 seconds. And that looks fine. So now we've completely removed the rig and made sure it doesn't affect our video. Now just to smooth it out, I'm going to feather out the mask by 10 pixels. Now that that's done, I'm going to select these 2 layers and pre-compose it into a new comp. So if we go back into our original composition, we now have one composition, and now we can color grade it. So under effects, type in lumetri, drag it over your footage. Now I shot this in log, so I'm going to add the Insta360 One X LUT. I'm going to increase the saturation to 150. I'm going to remove the shadows, so I'll increase that to 50. Under creative, I will add the CineSpace look and change the intensity to 33. It looks a bit orange, so I'll decrease the temperature by 10. So it looks a bit more blue, and that looks good. So now our video is ready to export. So you go to File, Export, add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue. I have a preset called YouTube 360 VR 4K, so I'm just going to drag it over to give me a head start. And I'll click it to show you the settings. I'm going to dub the audio later, so I'm going to uncheck Export Audio. But this is important that we're going to set the video width to 4096 and the height to 2048. And this is the maximum resolution that Insta360 Studio allows. And we're going to use that program to animate our tiny planet. So this is really important. If you export at 5.7K video, Insta360 Studio will not let you import that video. So make sure to set it to this settings, the highest settings that Insta360 Studio accepts. So render at maximum depth. I'm doing a VBR2 pass, target bitrate 100, maximum bitrate 120. Keyframe distance is 30, video is VR is checked, and use maximum render quality. And then click OK. Choose where you want to output the file. That looks fine. And export your video. Now that our video has finished exporting, we're going to use our final piece of software, Insta360 Studio, to animate our rolling planet. So go ahead and open up Insta360 Studio. And do note that it is 360 Studio and not Studio for One X. Now import the footage you just created. We're going to select free capture mode to animate our planet. I'm just going to play back and find out where I start to walk. So I want this to be the start of the footage, around here. I'm then going to create a keyframe by clicking this yellow button. I'm then going to click play and stop just when I begin to lean over, create another keyframe. It says minimum duration 1 second, so I'm just going to keep it a bit longer. Hopefully now I can do it, and I can. We're going to increase the pan angle a little bit, so it looks like that I'm leaning over and I'm about to fall over. And at this first keyframe, you can see I'm in the middle. So if I just play this quickly, so now it looks like I just leaned over. Now I'm going to find the frame where I lean back. It's about there. I'm going to create a keyframe. I'm going to pan the planet towards the other side, so it looks like I'm about to fall off. About there. Just play that back to make sure it's right. Okay. Seems to be a small error. Yeah, kind of starts to go the other direction a bit too early. 4.5, because it went too early. There we go. A lot of this is trial and error to get it right, so just experiment and find the best timing, keyframes and angles. Now we're going to animate me running around the planet. So I'm going to find a point where I run all the way around, complete one circle. So about there. Click a keyframe. I now need to change the pan angle to do one full rotation. And this will create the effect where I'm running around the planet. And let's just test this. See what that looks like. You can see I'm running. Run a bit too far, then I'm about to fall. Okay, so I need to move this keyframe back a bit. So I'm going to move it to 11.5. Let's see if that looks a bit more realistic. Yeah. And then at that point, I'm going to create a keyframe, make it 12.5, and I'm going to move this in to get rid of the rest, because that's when I come back up to normal. But this looks like I'm just about to fall over, and that's a good place to end the clip. Yeah, that looks good. Now what I can do, I can click on these lines and change the transition to fade in, fade out, and it might look a little bit smoother, but this is just experimentational, so see whether it works for you. So yeah, that works. And there we go, we have our tiny planet. Now if you wanted to, for Instagram, you can customize the resolution to 1080 by 1080, so you get the square effect. I would change the bitrate to a minimum of 16. Choose where you want to output to. This is Running Planet Demo. You name your file and click Export. And that's it. You now know how to create your own rolling planet, trying to stay on top of the world. So if you want to use sound effects in your videos, I recommend freesound.org. All you need to do is search for the sound that you're looking for. And under licenses, click Creative Commons 0, and you'll get a list of free sounds that you can use that don't require any attribution whatsoever. And if you're looking to add music into your video, I recommend YouTube Audio Library Music. And under attribution, select Not Required. And again, you get a list of free music to use in your videos. That's it.